To be our primary speaker this weekend is doing a certification course. Thank you, Ian. For the MRS 2000 mat, which is this German medical device right here. I first got involved in this kind of technology when I was 1 year old.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because both my parents are medical doctors. And my dad was a gadget guy. So he got all the latest and greatest gadgets. And when I was a kid, he would kind of show me, oh, here's the latest thing I got. And this is one for pain, and this is one for if you break your bones, here's for your joints. And so I always had this around me. And gradually, as I kind of became mature enough, I realized that, wow, gadgets actually work. And I found that actually some of them, I've tried every one, probably 100 that are out there, I don't know, a lot. I spent literally in the tens of thousands of dollars on gadgets and whatever's out there, because I think in my heart I believe that we got into kind of the situation that we're in due to technological mistakes, and if we correct our technology, we can probably get out of this in terms of the pollution, the carcinogens that have been created, etc. So I started playing around with gadgets and found that some stuck with me over the years. And a good friend of mine, Ian Clark, is in the back of the room right here. He came to me and he said, hey, you got to check out this mat I've been playing around with. And this was Wolfgang's mat, the MRS 2000. And I thought, okay, I'll check it out. And gradually it was like, hey, Ian, you're bringing the mat over, aren't you? Every time we got together, it was like, hey, can I get a ride on the mat? And then I would see what he was telling me. He would tell me, like, if you put it up in somebody's house and you turn it on, the cat will go right on and lay on it. The dog knows that that thing's on and they can detect it. And so I started seeing that was actually true just from traveling around with Ian. And I'd be laying on the mat and the cat would get on top of me. Now I have cat allergies, but they're a lot less than they used to be due to some of the health choices I made. Anyway, what happened was it just gradually led me to one step after the next step. I finally got my own, and then I started doing my work on people on the mat because they are on a table already. So I figure my perspective is, if I can, in the limited amount of time that I have with that person, if I can do everything all at once, then we can really see some significant results in the work that I do. Now, what is the work that I do in the world? I deal mostly in nutrition. I have a master's degree in nutrition. I've been in that field for 15 years, at the cutting edge of that field. And this is what we do right here. Actually, those are my books and products right there. Mostly in the field of superfoods and information about raw food nutrition and how, it's time to get back to normal. That's how we kind of frame that. Which means let's get back to normal, natural, original food in the way that God designed us. And that food is raw. It's not been put through a stove because that's the original thing. When you get on that kind of path, especially being the son of two medical doctors, you kind of go into hyperspeed towards the front of the technology of where we're at in terms of herbalism, where we're at in terms of this type of technology, where we're at in terms of the emotional healing that's needed for getting our body back in order, and metaphysical healing that's needed. All that combined together, I think, is what kind of has brought Wolfe and I together. One thing that we share very strongly, and Wolfe is the guy behind this device, is that we are both passionate about what we do on the planet. I mean, I feel like superfoods for me is one of the greatest discoveries, if not the greatest discovery in the history of the world in terms of food. Where you can get all your protein, all your antioxidants, all your vitamins, all your minerals still in food that is generally familiar to us, but can be added into your diet without having to take anything away. Because who likes to have their favorite foods taken away? Do we jump for joy at having our food taken away?
No.
Let's say you were having their favorite dish ever, and I came over and I just said, oh, I'm sorry, you can't have that. I took it away from you.
Oh, no.
You wouldn't be too happy with me.
No, I wouldn't.
That would be the end of me. And this is why diets don't work. So we have been actually working in a nutritional vista where we can create changes that people actually go, wow, I can change my body. And if you want to see a picture, Ian Clark will show you his before and after picture. I can change my body without trying or willpower or going into the whole diet game, which is a complete mess, which is a minefield that cannot be won, because as soon as you say no, the little kid in here is going, yes. You see what I'm saying? So we have cracked that code. That's the work that I do in the field of nutrition. And because we're getting some traction now, big time. People want the greenest choice. They want the most environmentally friendly choice. They want a choice that's, at the end of the day, they look back on the day and go, yeah, I did some good for the planet. That's what people want now. And that has guided us now to the point where we do realize that if we carefully apply our nutrition protocol, our water and air, and discovery, which is what Wolfe's here to tell you about. And this is a major discovery, but I'm gonna kind of jump into it real quick, just because he can't stop me right now. The discovery of the Earth's EMF field and how that is affecting our health moment to moment, literally minute to minute. And it's more vital actually than food. So our first need actually is hydrogen. How many people knew that? If we don't have hydrogen, we're dead in seconds. Our second need is what?
Oxygen.
Oxygen. Good. Our third need is?
Water.
Water. And our fourth need is?
Minerals.
Well, we used to say food, but it's actually the Earth's EMF field. We can go longer without food than we can without the Earth's EMF field. And that's what Wolfe's company is really pioneering and spearheading in the world. And he didn't have to come all the way out from you're in Berlin?
Me?
No, Wolfe. You're all the way on the other side. I mean, he's way out in München. Munich, Germany. He's way out there.
If I'm from Berlin, you're from Texas.
Okay, is that different? Hey, get me with a cowboy hat on, watch out. He's come all the way literally from Bavaria, that's where he's from, all the way over here. He has a huge organization in Europe, massive organization already going on in Toronto, but now it's time, you are the first ones in Los Angeles to really be heavily exposed to this type of technology, which eventually is the kind of technology that everyone's going to want to have in their house forever. I got it, and this is true, I've used it every single day as much as I can since I got it. That's how powerful it is. I've been in this field my whole life, since I was conceived. That's why I'm here. I'm just coming over here, hey Wolfe, I can help you, I'll do whatever I can. We'll get some people in here. I have to go do a book signing actually for one of my books. And then I'm coming back and I'm going to corral a whole bunch of hippies from Venice in here. Just kidding. It's going to be fun.
Did you sell a Mac to your parents yet?
My mom, finally, she's on it. So I got my mom, she has arthritis. Any kind of pain, I'm telling you, this is what I know, not what I believe or what I guess is true. Any kind of pain can be solved. There are solutions out there right now as the technology is now, let alone where we're going to be in 10 years. So if you've had crippling arthritis, I could sit you down right here, me and you, and talk, and you'd go, whoa, I never heard of any of that before. It's not stuff you're going to find in mainstream TV because they don't know. It's not stuff you're going to find in nutrition schools because they don't know. Because the cutting edge is going so fast that to actually stay on top of it, you cannot be in any kind of structured school program or university program. It's breaking, the late breaking news is happening too quickly.
You can't keep up with it.
Who could keep up with it? Well, I can because that's what I do professionally, and I've done that really since I got out of college. I mean, I just was a hobby, and I've just been doing it. It's 15 years now doing that kind of work. At that kind of thinking. I mean, I'm hardwired for medical research. I'm born into that. It's what when I get into medical research, I can read something and memorize it instantly. Now, if you talk to me about NASCAR racing, I'd be a complete moron.
That's useless anyway.
Depends on who you talk to. Let me tell you about my friends from Texas.
Not useless for a lot of people.
Doesn't help humankind, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and so where we're at now, there's a number of reasons why we're here. One is we got to get aware of the technology that's out there. Because if we're not aware, then we're in trouble. There could be a solution right next to you in the plane. I mean, Wolfe could have sat next to you in the plane, flying out here. Could have been right there, never heard of it. Never talked to him, whatever. It could be right next to you, and just because we weren't aware, we may not know about it. We've got to be aware that the solutions are holistic. They're holistic, and they involve hydrogen, oxygen, water, EMF fields, positive EMF fields, instead of the stuff that's going like this, that's frying our brain into radioactive, microwaved Swiss cheese. And then we've got to be aware of food, right? These are basic human needs. And we cannot trust, obviously, the big food companies to take care of us, right?
Right.
Can we trust doctors to really be on top of their game because they're being hit I mean, I know this. I've been in the doctor's office. Here comes the girls, the high cut, and they're coming in here, and here's all their drugs. Can we really trust them to be on top of the late breaking news? I mean, that whole university theory of medicine is just that. It's a theory.